Hello, welcome back to Al Talks. This is episode number 5. Today I'm going to be talking about. Uh, it's more of a reflection on the last 4 episodes and about stand up, the sets that I've done so far, and what my plans are for the future. So I'll start off with talking about plans for the future. The plans for the future obviously is when everything opens back up. We're currently in very serious lockdown here in Ireland. That'll last till March, possibly longer. I'm not sure, but we shall see. Maybe in a year's time, most likely is when I'll be able to go up and do stand up again. But the plan is to go up and do as many open mic nights as possible, both in. Oh, there we go. Both up in Dublin and here locally, and then I will try from that try and graft a half-hour special that I don't know, figure out where to record that somewhere. It could be in front of you in a small audience. Um, I'm not sure yet. We'll figure that out when we get there. But one topic I wanted to discuss today was, as I'd mentioned in the past. Okay, we're back. My computer was dying. That's where anyway. So, what was I talking about? Yeah, before. The plan was to continue doing stand up and hopefully record a special. I have no idea on the timeline and that. Um, it's something I am working on. I have, like I've said, I know I can do. If I was asked to do a 15-minute set, I could definitely do that. So it's the next 15 minutes that I flush out. The couple of I haven't written. I haven't written jokes while we've been through this pandemic, but I have ideas. But obviously, I won't know what works. It doesn't work until I get up back up on stage. So that'll be God knows when. But today I want to talk about Marc Maron. Marc Maron is a comedian who I can't actually remember how I found him, but he's been in comedy for, I think it was about, it's well over 30 years at this stage. And he has a podcast. He was actually one of the first people years ago to start a podcast. At the time, his agent and his manager said, "Oh, it's not going to go anywhere. This isn't going to be the future of media." Little did they know. And if you look at the guests that he's had on his podcast is called WTF. You can see, he's even had Barack Obama on. So he's had Barack Obama on before on one of his shows, and he's had numerous celebrities on, comics, actors, and the likes. And what I don't understand is, for a person who pioneered podcasting, which is I think is over, I think there's 1 million podcasters worldwide, or maybe slightly over that at the moment. What I don't understand is he's got 11,900 subscribers. What I don't understand is why that figure is so low. And if you look, most of his videos, the views, they range anywhere between 10 to 30, some nights 40, 50,000 views. Like as I've mentioned in previous episodes, I've seen Marc Maron. I I don't think it's his latest special. I think it's maybe the one before that. Can't remember the name of it now. Hold on, let me look. Yeah, the podcast. Oh, not the podcast. Special is called End Times Fun. It was released last year, but he was, he went on tour around the world, and he was, like I said, I seen him work the bits out, when I seen him, and then those bits ended up in the special. And like I said, it was, Mark is someone who I've watched for a long time. He also had a show on TV for 4 seasons called Maron. Joey Diaz was on that actually. He did a cameo on it. It was a very funny cameo. But I still can't fathom why he has such a low subscriber base. And even he said after Maron that he was drawing more crowds in theatres and in clubs when he'd perform. And Mark does make a point. It was actually in a podcast I listened to recently. He talks about how he draws a certain crowd, and it's not younger people in their 20s or 30s. It's most likely older disgruntled folks. Because even when I went up to see Mark, he came out on stage and he sat on a chair and he did this with his glasses and he went, "Oh, what am I doing here? Why?" But that's the sort of comedian Mark is. Yeah. Yeah, Mark is that sort of comedian, but I don't know. It's anytime I search his podcast and I see now in fairness, last time I did look at it, I think it was 8.9 thousand subscribers. It has gone up by 3,000 since I've looked at it last. But I mean, if you compare it to the likes of, this is just for example, I looked at recently started listening to Lex Friedman's podcasts, and he nearly has 1 million subscribers. Now, this is no disrespect to Lex Friedman, but it's just I find it strange. I don't know. Maybe Mark is right. Maybe he draws in a certain crowd, and that's the way it'll stay. But I don't know. It just seems strange to me. So yeah, that's that, I suppose. Hopefully, Mark gets more subscribers and a lot more younger generation like myself will begin to appreciate all this man has done for comedy and stand up. But another comic I want to talk about is actually a show that I watched. It's Bert Kreischer. Bert Kreischer, I found him, I think it was a YouTube clip that someone had put up on Facebook, him doing his infamous, well, it's not an infamous bit, his bit about the machine bit, which I won't go too much into it, but basically, it's not premise. While he was in college in Florida, he went on a language exchange program as part of, because he was studying Russian, and he went over to, I think it was Moscow, and we befriended at the time. This was the early 90s, so this was, I think, just after the fall of the Soviet Union. And he befriended some mafia members on the train, and there's a whole story there. But if you're interested, look up the machine on Bert Kreischer, the machine on YouTube, and it'll come up. I think it's about 10-15 minute bit, but that's how I found him. I've been following him ever since. He's actually really good friends with Joe Rogan. Sober October was actually started by Joe Rogan because of Bert Kreischer to help him with his drinking problem, because that man drinks an awful lot. But his show on Netflix he has a lot of specials on Netflix, but he also has a show called The Cabin, where he invites, it's mostly comics, but there's some actors there as well, and they help him. It's not a sitcom. It's the whole purpose of it is it was to help Bert calm down and kind of think about stuff and have an enlightenment sort of way. But it's a very good show. Even the very first episode is, without going too much into it, Danielle Rawlings and Bobby Lee. Now, Bobby Lee, who I've talked about before, I watch his podcast, The Tiger Belly. In my opinion, one of the best produced podcasts in the business right now. Him and Dahlia Rollins go way back, and they have this weird chemistry where Danielle hates when Bobby touches him because he likes his personal space like most of us do, but Bobby finds it funny when he invades his personal space, shall we say. But The Cabin is definitely worth a watch, and it has some. I won't say the one of the guests that was on the show. I think it's maybe the second or third episode, but it's quite an interesting character. So, if any you want to check that out on Netflix, The Cabin, definitely worth the watch. And I think that is it. Is there anything else? I suppose I could reflect a bit more on the first 4 episodes of this podcast. How shall I put this? It's been interesting, kind of recording these and kind of remembering all the different sets, especially the second set that I did, where things didn't go to plan, but sometimes they don't, case in point, this pandemic, no one expected this. This just came out of nowhere, so be interesting to see how we come out of it. But it did get me thinking about, in the future when I will get back into doing this, how it'll all go, and trying to aim for that special half an hour special, which, if we get back to doing stand up, most likely not this year, but the year after, say 22, I could probably shoot for the end of that year to do the special, maybe begin at 23. I don't know. We'll see. Or maybe I just leave the special for a bit and try and get a good half an hour set. That's also a possibility, because this stuff takes time. I probably could do it within a year. Well, essentially I have, like I said, a 15 minutes. It's the other 15 doesn't show off. But that's not a given either. I could change it, could keep it. It's kind of uncharted territory at the moment. So, but anyway, that's all for this episode. I'm not sure about next week's episode, to be honest, because unless I think of something during the week between now and next week, but there could be a hiatus next week. I know I said I was going to upload even though I'm not doing any more sets. Might leave it for a week and try and figure out the Zoom thing, because I do want to get Karen on and Gary at some stage. So we shall see. Okay, bye. Actually, one more thing before I go. I have a blooper. I think it's about 3.5 minutes or something like that of me recording episode 4, but I didn't like how it was going, so I dropped it. May or may not upload that at a later stage. Just leave a comment down below if you want to see that. I don't know, maybe some of you will find it entertaining, some of you won't. Just leave a comment down below and see. I shall see if you want to see that or not. Maybe it'll be funny, maybe it won't, who knows. Thank you for watching today, and I'll be back, I don't know, at this stage, maybe next week, maybe the week after, we shall see. Keep an eye on this page, and also my Facebook page. I have links to that in each video, so keep an eye on that, and I will keep you posted. Thank you.